Making headlines this hour. Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee of the 14th National People's Congress of the People's Republic of China, Wang Dongming, pays a courtesy call on President Dr. Mohamed Muiz. Maldives Industrial Fisheries Company, MIFCO, announces that the country's largest cold storage facility, currently under construction at Felivaru, Lavian Atoll, will be completed and operational by June 2026. And Health Minister expresses growing concern over the increasing prevalence of mental illnesses, particularly among the youth and working age population, alongside a sharp rise in non-communicable diseases.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. Now the news in detail. Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee of the 14th National People's Congress (NPC) of the People's Republic of China, Wang Dongming, pays a courtesy call on President Dr. Mohamed Muiz at the President's office.
During the meeting, President Dr. Muiz expressed his sincere appreciation to Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, for China's continued support and cooperation, which he said have contributed significantly to the Maldives' economic and social development. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to further strengthening bilateral relations across multiple sectors, grounded in mutual trust and long-standing friendship. The president also highlighted China's assistance in key development initiatives, including major infrastructure projects. Discussions focused on enhancing Maldives-China relations, identifying new avenues for cooperation and strengthening existing partnerships. Priority areas included housing infrastructure, fisheries and agriculture, tourism, connectivity, information technology and trade. Both sides also noted the memoranda of understanding and agreements signed during President Muiz's visits to China, expressing satisfaction with the steady progress of ongoing projects. Vice Chairman Wang Dongming acknowledged the close and friendly relations between the two countries, noting that the ties have further been strengthened by President Muiz's visit to China. He said the purpose of the delegation's visit was to deepen cooperation for the mutual benefit of both nations and their people. He reaffirmed China's commitment to implementing the comprehensive strategic partnership and expressed support for the Maldives' development priorities. The meeting concluded with both sides reiterating their commitment to further strengthening Maldives-China relations to achieve tangible outcomes for both countries. Vice Chairman Wang was accompanied by a senior delegation from the nation's People Congress of China.
The Maldivian government strongly condemns the brutal attack in Bondi Beach in Australia, describing the incident as an unacceptable act of violence against innocent civilians. In a statement issued on Sunday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said such inhuman acts have no place in any society. The ministry extended its condolences to the families of those killed in the attack and wished those injured a speedy recovery. The statement added that the government and people of the Maldives stand in solidarity with Australia during this difficult time. It further reaffirmed the Maldives' commitment to opposing all forms of violence and extremism. According to reports, the attack occurred early Sunday morning when two men opened fire on a crowd at Bondi Beach, killing at least 15 people and injuring 38 others. Australian authorities said the attack involved a 50-year-old man, his 24-year-old son and two others. Police shot and killed the 50-year-old suspect during the incident. The Minister of Health, Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim, expresses concerns over the increasing prevalence of mental illnesses, particularly among the youth and working age population, alongside a sharp rise in non-communicable diseases and CDs.
Speaking at the closing ceremony of the first Universal Health Coverage (UHC) forum held in the Maldives, the minister emphasized the urgent need for inclusive quality healthcare to address these challenges. Mr. Nazim highlighted that while the Maldives had made significant strides in maternal and child health and the eradication of certain communicable diseases, NCDs now account for 84% of deaths in the country. He stressed the continued reliance on external sources for treating such conditions, underscoring the necessity of strengthening local healthcare infrastructure. Additionally, he warned that climate change is exacerbating health risks impacting food security, mental health, and overall well-being. To combat these issues, the government is drafting a 2026 to 2030 roadmap for achieving UHC, prioritizing primary healthcare expansion and specialized services such as cancer screening and the National Mental Health Helpline. Under President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's leadership, efforts are also underway to expand ambulance services and enhance urban and tertiary healthcare facilities. The forum underscored UHC as a critical component of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, aiming to ensure equitable, accessible healthcare for all Maldivians. The proposed strategies align with global best practices while addressing local challenges, including healthcare digitization.
The Maldives establishes a Tsunami Ready Board to oversee the implementation of the Tsunami Ready Recognition Program, an initiative led by UNESCO's Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission.
The board will operate as a subcommittee under the National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) and comprises representatives from key state institutions including Ministry of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance and Planning, Maldives Police Service, Maldives National Defence Force and the Maldivian Red Crescent. NDMA will chair the board while the city's ministry will serve as vice chair. The seven-member body is tasked with ensuring that communities meet internationally recognized disaster preparedness standards. To obtain certification, localities must demonstrate operational disaster management plans, maintain trained emergency response personnel, and ensure the availability of clear public guidance for crisis situations. The board will be responsible for verifying compliance and facilitating the certification process for eligible islands. While the UNESCO framework primarily focuses on tsunami preparedness, the Maldives has broadened its scope to include a wider range of environmental hazards. Kuludufushi City has been selected as the pilot site, with accreditation efforts currently underway. The initiative aligns with President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's vision of building a resilient nation by 2030 and represents a significant step towards achieving international recognition for the Maldives' disaster preparedness capabilities. The NDMA has announced plans to extend Tsunami Ready certification to all inhabited islands within the next decade.
According to the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, the Maldives has made significant progress in its ambitious environmental conservation effort, with over 980,000 trees planted so far under the government's 5 million tree planting program.
The initiative aims to restore endangered native species, enhance greenery, and promote long-term environmental sustainability throughout the Maldives. Originally targeting 5 million trees with the assistance of state-owned enterprises, private sector, and civil society organizations, the program has expanded its goal to 6.4 million, reflecting the country's strong commitment to ecological restoration. According to the ministry, to date, 985,083 trees have been planted, including 2 laurelwood trees in every inhabited island across the nation. The government plans to reach 1 million plantings by the end of the year. Ministry officials emphasize that the program is vital for combating climate change, preserving biodiversity, and ensuring a healthier future for generations to come.
The National Social Protection Agency (NSPA) reports disbursements totaling $804,152.46 in November to fund therapeutic treatments for persons with disabilities, reflecting the government's continued commitment to social welfare. According to agency data, 359 individuals received assistance during the month, with minors accounting for the vast majority of beneficiaries. Of those supported, 342 were under the age of 18, while 17 were adults. Behavior therapy represented the largest share of expenditure, amounting to $226,998.70, and remains the agency's most significant therapeutic cost. The NSPA also outlined broader social assistance programs implemented during the period. In November, 320,304 $92.34 was allocated to single parents living in poverty, benefiting 2,895 guardians and nearly 5,000 children. New registrations included 48 adults and 96 minors seeking state assistance. Additional support measures saw $12,064.85 distributed to 100 guardians caring for children without parental support, while food assistance was provided to 713 individuals. The state-owned Maldives Industrial Fisheries Company, MIFCO, announces that the country's largest cold storage facility, currently under construction at Felivaru, Laviani Atoll, will be completed and operational by June 2026.
The 4,000-ton cold storage project awarded to Rinek India Limited in January is part of MIFCO's broader efforts to modernize and expand the nation's fisheries industry. According to MIFCO, 69% of the work, including cold storage, 200-ton brine freezing and 80-ton RSW refrigerated seawater systems, has already been completed. Machinery installation is currently underway with remaining tasks including power plant setup and saltwater connections. Once operational, the facility will significantly enhance fish storage and export capacity during peak fishing seasons, helping Maldives secure better prices in the global market. Additionally, fish processing plants are being developed to enable higher value exports. The government has already dredged 5.7 hectares of land in Felivaru and completed 3 jetties for general use, fish handling and international exports. As the most extensive fisheries facility in the Maldives, Felivaru's development is expected to drive major growth in the industry, reinforcing the nation's status as a key player in the global seafood market.
A major development project is set to begin at Daravandu Airport in Baitol, with local firm ePorch Associates Private Limited awarded the contract for design and consultancy services to expand and modernize the airport terminal.
The agreement was signed by Ibrahim Iyas, Managing Director of Island Aviation Service Limited (IASL), and Muawiyat Abdul Sattar, Managing Director of Airports Associate, marking a key milestone fulfilling a presidential pledge to upgrade regional aviation infrastructure. IASL Deputy Managing Director Ali Salim said the design phase of the project is expected to be completed within 45 days, following which construction work will commence. The planned upgrades include the expansion of arrivals hall, installation of new check-in counters and baggage handling belts, the addition of a cafe in the departure area, and the construction of an additional departure gate. The existing terminal building will also undergo a complete renovation, with the overall development covering approximately 814 square meters. Salim noted that the project is expected to significantly improve passenger experience while boosting Baitol's economy by bringing the airport closer to international standards and supporting the region's resort and guest house tourism sector. Operational for 14 years, Daravandu Airport has experienced a substantial increase in passenger traffic driven by the growth of tourism, making the expansion essential for sustainable development in the atoll.
The Elections Commission of Maldives announces that training for officials assigned up to the upcoming Local Council and Women's Development Committee elections will begin on 10th January, reflecting its priority of securing qualified personnel to staff polling stations nationwide. Abdurrahman Salah Rashid, the Commission's Vice President, said that while about 3,700 applications have been received, a total of 7,000 officials is required to administer the vote effectively. Recruitment efforts are continuing to close this gap, with the Commission aiming to complete all training by 27th March following the certification of training staff. Specialized role-specific instruction is planned across every inhabited island. Applicants must be at least 18 years of age and are barred from holding senior leadership positions within political parties. The deadline for applications is 21st December. Compensation will be paid according to responsibility, ranging from $64.85 for reserve officials to $188.06 for polling station chiefs. Allowances for meals and overtime will supplement these payments. The local council election is scheduled for 4th April. And now we'll take a short break for Isha prayers. Stay tuned.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Chadive Raja Award Award Koloma PSME application download Kolava. Download Koloma for login vela for Chadive Raja Programa Fit Kalava. Votlang Benova Daira Yarkurava. Adi Votlang Benuvara select Koloma for vote eva. Come votaki de token. Eng account to a voter voranginang vote the vene.
Welcome back to PSM News in English, and now we'll continue with the news. The chairman of a telecom heavyweight NTT told Reuters in an interview that Japan needs to take a niche approach to chip manufacturing rather than trying to compete on scale and price, as it aims to revive its once mighty chip industry.
NTT is one of the number of major Japanese corporations invested in Rapidus, the government-backed chip maker that plans to start mass production of advanced semiconductors in 2027. Set up in 2022, Rapidus is central to the government's $65 billion plan to boost chip and artificial intelligence industries that was unveiled last year. Reuters reported last week Japan's top 3 banks plan to lend around $12.9 billion to Rapidus. In the 1980s, Japan was one of the world's most dominant players in chips, a position it has since ceded to rivals in South Korea. Japan's industry lost its competitive edge by chasing low-cost, high-volume production, something it needs to avoid this time around, NTT's John Sawada said in an interview last week. Japan's plan to revive its chip industry is in tandem with Washington's drive to ensure stability of the chip supply chain in response to China's rapid advances in technology. NTT would like to see Rapidus adopt its IOWN technology, which uses light to transmit data and is faster and consumes less power than standard technology, Sawada said. Sawada, who chaired the Japan-US Business Council until October, said US President Donald Trump's policy also has positives for Japan. While there has been much hand-wringing in Japan about US tariffs, Sawada pointed to Japan's pledge this year to invest $550 billion in the United States as an opportunity.
US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner expect to brief EU foreign ministers on the Trump administration's Gaza peace plan via video conference, following a proposal by French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot as he arrives at the Foreign Affairs Council in Brussels.
The 2 U.S. officials were invited in order to provide an update on the implementation of President Trump's peace plan. On Ukraine, Barrot reaffirmed the EU's commitment to pressure Russia.
It's a precondition for the next step, which is a reparation loan. And we must take that decision within the end of this week to secure that Ukraine is in a position to continue its freedom fight, but also to uphold, the whole society, but also in order to show the rest of the world that Europe is a strong player. Otherwise, we will give in to the impression pictured or painted by the American president that Europe is weak.
He also announced new sanctions against Russian actors, including shipping companies linked to Russian oil majors Lukoil and Rosneft. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen stressed the importance of reaching an agreement to fund Ukraine.
Romantic warrior lives up to his favorite tag in the Hong Kong Cup at the Sha Tin Racecourse, registering a record fourth straight victory of the Group 1 race.
7-year-old Romantic Warrior, ridden by New Zealand jockey James McDonald, went to the front in the home straight to win by 1 3/4 lengths from Bellagio, Opera with Kwasana 3.5 lengths back in third. With a total purse of 40 million Hong Kong dollars, the Hong Kong Cup is the most lucrative 2,000-meter turf race in the world and currently the richest race in Hong Kong. Shum and owner Peter Lau will now discuss future plans, with another Saudi Cup clash with Forever Young a possibility. The Danish trained runner was involved in one of the finishes of the season as he and Forever Young went toe-to-toe in Saudi Cup, with Romantic Warrior beaten just a nag.
The mercury drops to minus 45 Celsius in Russia's Irkutsk, though some locals consider this temperature to be relatively mild in comparison to previous recorded lows.
The city, with population of some 300,000, is the capital of Sakha Republic in Russia's eastern Siberia. Yakutsk is widely considered to be the world's coldest major city. On Monday, the coldest temperature recorded in the Russian region, also known as Yakutia, was at minus 52 Celsius in the Tatinsky Ulus district. Motriana Terestina, a vendor selling frozen fish at a farmer's market in Yakutsk, remembers temperature of minus 55 degrees Celsius. She was asked how she managed to cope with the extreme cold. Yakutsk city officials said the schools had switched to online classes to help people cope with extreme cold weather, but despite the freezing temperatures, it was mostly business as usual for people of Yakutsk and across the region, with public transport operating as normal and businesses and companies operating normal working hours.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
කුදරති රීතිකමා තිමාවශ හිමායකුරුම්
දිවහිංගේ රීති ආරකාදයා